Welcome back to King Kraken Sports. Mike here, and unlike yesterday, I'm planning not to go 10, 12 minutes about, a whole bunch of shit. Today, I'm going to try to stick more to the message. Today, we're talking about once you've decided you're going to scout, how do you choose who to scout? I mean, before I get into it, I just want to say, every once in a while, I'll look down at the comment section, and I'll see guys where it's like, where do you rank X player here? Where do you rank Y player here? And I get it on Twitter as well. And I just want to reiterate the fact that I just do not have the time to scout every single draft eligible player. I am very selective with who I scout. I scout anywhere between about 150 and 200 prospects a year. I don't do the scouting the same way that a Mel Kiper does, that a Todd McShay does, that a Matt Miller does. I don't scout 300, 350, 400 prospects a year. I don't have the time. Those guys also get paid to do it. I'm just doing this as a hobby. So how do I choose who to scout? Generally, my scouting process starts in around mid-August. And when you think about that, in mid-August, if you're already watching tape on guys that are going to be selected in the draft in April, then you're actually off to a good start because you're going to be needing to watch a lot of tape on a lot of players. So what I do is I look at a bunch of mock drafts, probably in around August. I look at ones that are preseason NFL mock drafts, whatever the next year is going to be, or I look at ones like Matt Miller does one the day after one draft has finished. So he'll do a 2018 mock draft the day after the 2017 mock draft, day after the 17 draft finishes. And I look at those, and I look at about 5 or 6 over the course of about a week or so, and I look at who really are the big names. I'll give you an example. This year, the big names that I knew right off the bat I needed to scout were Cam Robinson, Derek Barnett, Myles Garrett, Malik McDowell, Deshaun Watson, and Raekwon McMillan. Those were about the 6 names that I always saw prevalent, probably in that top 15, top 10 even. And Tease Tabor, Desmond King, kind of to round out really just a top 10 watch list. And that watch list actually becomes very important because if you read and guys' names start becoming more and more prevalent, start getting more buzz, I add them to the watch list. So I do that, and I go from about a big board of 10 to then 15 to 20 to 25 to 32 to 50 to 100, and that's over the course of the year. But how do I decide on when I'm going to choose the next round of scouting? Because I'll do scouting several guys in the course of the day, whether that's plugging the laptop into in the TV and watching it on the big screen, whether it's watching it on my iPad, when I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it, whatever. How do I decide? Well, I need to see their name pop up in at least 2 other media sources, such as Draft Breakdown. They've got to have some tape available, or I need to see one of their writers talk the guy up. Matt Miller is a name that I generally take very seriously. So if in his scouting notebook someone starts talking about, well, you need to watch more tape on so and so, I'll do it. And the 2 guys at the Locked On NFL Draft podcast, I've talked about them on here before, Joe Marino and Kyle Krabs, 2 really great guys, by the way. If they start talking guys up, I make a note of it. And all of my info as far as rankings, as far as my mock drafts, my position rankings, big board, watch list, all of that's on the phone. And I'll show you what I'm looking at as far as my watch list right now. So I don't know if you guys can see this very clearly. Actually, I know you can't. But right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys on the watch list. And these are all guys where they've either had a crapload of buzz, where someone, either a pro scout those anonymous pro scouts, or I've read it with a well-regarded writer that's talked them up in some capacity. Some of these guys are merely just a case of they had a good season but went unheralded, or maybe they came out a year too early and I want to see what was inside the prospect's head. So that's how I actually end up choosing these guys. I do see the occasional comment where it's, where do you rank such and such tight end from such and such school, and it's not even that I haven't heard of the player, I haven't heard of the school at times. That's how I decide who I'm going to scout. I've seen, well, where do you rank this corner from Wake Forest? Generally for me, in order for me to even consider watching the player, they need to be in at least somebody's top 150. If they're not in anyone's top 150, I'm not watching them. I'm really not going to watch them. There's no reason for me to watch it, because for me, I do a top 100. If I don't think that there's any chance that they can be selected in the top 2 days, there's no point in watching. So that's also just something for you guys to keep in mind going forward, just to think to yourself, listen, is there really any chance that this guy has of going early? Is there, can he go in the first 2 days? Does he have tape available? Is it reliable tape available? Have you seen his name pop up on any draft writer's radar? If the answer to any of those is no, I probably am not watching that player. That's going to do it for today, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, tell that friend, tell another friend, and we'll talk to you again next time.